When I was 12 years old, I've sent a letter to the Ministry of Education wanting to sue my math teacher. At that time, I hated math. Everything seemed so complicated as she lacked the ability to make me and my colleagues understand it. Of course, I didn't sue her because of this, but because she didn't seem to like what she was doing. She didn't seem to have the skills or ability to teach us math. After months of waiting for an answer, because I wanted to make a change and get her out of my school, I finally got an answer. One of those stiff and blunt answers with no solution. So the wheel kept spinning. After high school, I went to Journalism and Communication University and started working in different companies related to the digital environment. Nothing related to math, as you can imagine. When I was 22, I discovered my passion for teaching. Not math, of course, but English. I thought in the beginning it's going to be a huge change in my life to become a teacher, but I accepted the challenge. Every day, I felt a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of questions in my mind. How am I going to manage a classroom full of children? Am I the right person for this? Do I have enough patience? How do I keep them interested in what I teach? After a few months, I felt from the bottom of my heart that this is what I should do for the rest of my life. Be around children. Help them discover the future. It took me 5 more years to finally embrace this as my mission in life. I wanted to be the opposite of my math teacher. So what am I doing differently now as a STEAM teacher? I truly believe a STEAM approach can engage students more and change education as we know it these days. STEAM stands for science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. Put them together, and what do you get? It's a new vision to the world, a new approach that can change things for the better and finally make a difference. My passion for teaching led me to create Small Academy, a STEAM education hub with technology, programming, and robotics classes for 5 to 14 years old children. My goal goes beyond of just using some fancy gadgets with some cool names in our classes. My goal is to help to shape children's mindset towards a global one, to be able to find and solve real problems from the real world and generate an impact with their ideas. Through technology, programming, and robotics classes, my goal is to help children manage a project from start to finish, iterate, get feedback from real users, like it's happening in our day-to-day life, working in a company or managing our own companies. My goal is to help children become creators, inventors, not only consumers. What started with 14 children in January this year now has 200 children and 1 summer school with 90 children. It's been proven that learning by doing is a much more powerful experience, especially for children. This is why I use hands-on activities in all my classes, such as inventing with easy-to-use electronic building blocks and additional materials, creating robots, assembling computers that children can use for programming, creating objects with 3D printers and 3D pens. Hands-on activities prepare children for the future, developing a new set of skills very, very useful. In our summer school this year, during a week for 5 weeks, children from every team had a brainstorming, at the beginning of that week. They were thinking what prototype to create by the end of the week based on their own ideas. So every Monday, they had a brainstorming to decide what prototype to create. They were thinking of its functionalities, decided what a minimum viable product should look like, had a research on what materials they needed, implemented their idea, tested it, got feedback, fixed bugs, and iterated all this again and again. For instance, in 1 week, one team created a multifunctional robot who was a vacuum cleaner and a pet in the same time. So they used proximity, motion, and light sensors to create this invention, an MP3 player, speakers, fans, and motors. When nobody was at home, the robot was cleaning the room. When somebody was around, the robot became a pet. Another team came with a different idea. So they created a 2-in-1 vehicle, this one right here. So it's a boat and a car in the same time. They used plastic materials, circuits to create their invention. So I think it's time to change the old with the new. It's not enough to just brag about using computers in school if they're just furniture and not used at their full capacity. It's not enough to teach using ancient programs that are no longer relevant to our times. For instance, in September, Apple launched Swift Playgrounds, a platform that teaches children the basics of programming. Until now, it was adopted by 100 institutions worldwide. We are proud to be one of them, be ahead of time, and deliver relevant content to our children through an engagement curricula. Education nowadays encourages us to believe that all children are the same, and a test can say how smart a child is. Well, let me tell you a story. Gillian Lyne is a British dancer and a choreographer. She's well known for the choreography of 2 of the longest shows on Broadway, Cats and The Phantom of the Opera. Her talent was discovered by a doctor. Her mother took her to the doctor and explained about her lack of focus in school. After hearing everything she said, the doctor said to Lyne that he needed a private moment with her mother. So he turned on the radio and stepped out of the room. He then encouraged her mother to look at Lyne as she was dancing to the radio. The doctor noted she was actually a dancer and encouraged her mother to take Lyne to the dance school. Now in her 90s, Lyne was probably lucky enough to be born early. Nowadays, most probably she would have been diagnosed with ADHD. One of the most important choreographers ever existed on this planet would have been considered an outsider with our current educational standards. Every child should be treated individually as a unique person with specific needs. This is why in all our classes we have 7 children, so that every teacher can treat them separately and help produce their improvement and develop their education. Another thing that we believe is that education has evolved because now we have whiteboards and tablets in class. Although we do have new gadgets in classroom, we still believe all children are the same and treat them under the same patterns. It's not enough to just write on a table and think about yourself. You're engaging with your students and they're engaged with the content you are delivering. Another myth, and it's one of my favorites, is that exact sciences and technology are just for boys. Boys play with cars, girls play with Barbies. Chris goes to basketball and robotics classes. Anna goes to ballet and piano classes. There's no such thing as technology and exact sciences are just for boys. It's not like they have in their DNA this choice, but it's a matter of mindset, to be open and let them try, experience exact sciences. Another question I get a lot is, okay, at the end of the course, will my kid receive a certified diploma by the Ministry of Education? A diploma, it's not going to state how smart a child is. In September, as I said, Apple launched Swift Playgrounds. In 2 days from that moment, we had it in class in our programming course. Technology, it's changing very fast. So let's say that in 3 months from here, a new platform is launched, and I consider it relevant and interesting enough, I will want to update the curricula. So a certificate, in this case, wouldn't suit its purpose. So why to change something in education? Today's news prepare us for the future. We have automated cars. Google has been testing them for a while, and Uber has launched a fleet in Pittsburgh. Amazon is delivering its packages using a drone delivery system, and they're supposed to deliver packages to our door in 30 minutes. We already have 3D printed houses. A Chinese company printed a 2-story villa in 45 days that is supposed to withstand an earthquake measuring 8 on a Richter scale. In US, they have a robot lawyer, and we have software developed to generate automated news for Fox and Associated Press. By 2020, 5 million jobs will be lost due to automation. 2 million new jobs will be gained as a technological change. Even if you're not a teacher or part of an institution, you can make a change. Stay informed. Make sure you know what's happening in the world. Make know you're up to date with the technological changes. Who said I could become a STEAM teacher when I started hating math in school and ended up studying communication and journalism in university? Share your knowledge and inspire others. Share your knowledge especially to children and teenagers. They'll be the ones facing this wave of technological change. Experiment anything new. Who said you cannot build a robot at home with your children? Create science experiments and make sure they understand through hands-on activities the world they live in. Help children become inventors, creators, not only consumers. So I told you about my math teacher. In part, because people can impact someone's life. In part, now, I became a STEAM teacher because of her. Always remember to generate an impact in education and in children's life. What started as a huge challenge in my life to become a STEAM teacher, it's now part of my day-to-day activities. Only that this time, it's STEAM and not English. Thank you very much.